to talk about commercial space flights and the future of human presence outside of the Earth's surface. We have here Manlio Di Stefano from the Axiom Space Company. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for inviting us. It's a pleasure.
Well, Axiom Space is one of the biggest names in the space industry. But please, for the broader public, can you briefly introduce your company and its activities?
With a big pleasure. To make a long story short, we are building the first ever commercial space station. It's designed to be deployed before the end of life of the ISS. So we will be completing the station before 2030, and we'll be somehow being the new International Space Station. While we achieved this incredible result, we have been assigned 4 missions by the NASA. So we are performing private and national missions to the ISS. We already performed 3 missions, and we are going for the 4th.
But those are not missions like for the space tourism. Those are actual missions, right?
Yeah, we don't even like that definition because, you know, when you go to the ISS and you are performing science and research, you are bringing an entire country with you, and you are really deploying experiments that are fundamental for human beings. So maybe in the future there will be other actors that will go towards that direction, but it's not our focus. We are performing science and research, and we are creating, we are developing capacity that's going to be fundamental for human beings on Earth.
Why is it beneficial for subjects like NASA or ESA to use services of commercial spaceflight companies?
Well, first of all, for a very simple reason, the ISS will be decommissioned. Full stop. So, but apart from joking, this is not a joke, but apart from joking, you know, it's a change of paradigm in the sector. You know, for over 30 years, countries have been paying the cost of the infrastructure to build the ISS. Now that they have done their task, and the humanity is going to look at Moon and Mars as the next chapter of the journey, it's time for private actors to work and exploit the possibilities of the low Earth orbit. And that's why companies like Axiom Space are starting to do so. So we are somehow providing a service for agencies like NASA and ESA, but also for private entities. They could be companies that want to perform experiments on a material or a product, and also governments that want to expand their capability to access to space. Somehow we are thinking to be those that are normalizing the access to space.
Like opening the space to everyone.
I like to say democratizing space, but this is another slight difference, you know. Yeah.
Well, you're also developing your own spacesuit, and I guess that everyone, when you say a spacesuit, everyone images those bulky, iconic, big ones, you know, especially from the space shuttle era. How is your XEMU? How is it different? What's the innovation?
Well, what people think is true, because we are using the same suit for over the last 40 years. So we are still flying the suit. So that's why we've been awarded after a public bid by NASA to create a new generation of suit for the Artemis 3 mission, and in general for the AVA missions also on the moon surface. So this suit is totally different. Obviously, after 40 years, technology is way different, and also the material pretty different. But what I like to say, apart from all the technicalities that will make them very specific for preventing any kind of problem to the astronaut and giving the life support, is that those suits are designed to be fitting on every human being. This looks like something obvious, but it's not the case, because, you know, even commercial space is opening to new astronauts. And I give you an example. In the second mission we performed, X2, we have flown the first Saudi women in space. And in this very specific industry, even the gender balance has been very much distorted. So even the materials were with another concept, you know, were mostly for a specific prototype of human being. So we are, our suit will be a service that we will provide to anyone that is able to fly in Austria. So they will be available to be fitting for everyone.
So there's a chance even for people like me, because I'm like 190 centimeters tall, and like I don't think that plane companies are counting with people like I am. So you are counting with tall women?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Okay. Absolutely, I think you will enjoy a lot.
Okay, that's definitely better than the fashion industry. Well, what the future looks like for Axiom Space, because a lot of stuff that you talk about sounds like from a science fiction. So what's in the future?
Yeah. Well, I would like to also add a few sentences about what has been already, because it's a success story, and I want to tell it. You know, we've already performed the first 3 missions, and I told you already about the second mission when they are the Saudi woman. She was a biomedical, and she performed anti-cancer research on the mission. And was very successful. The first mission was all private mission, and it was somehow a landmark because it never happened that private citizen flew on the ISS. And the third mission was a all European mission. And what happens after these missions is that the so-called Apollo effect hit the country. So people start dreaming about space and what it can give the country and the population. So we have seen after the Apollo missions that a lot of children started studying engineering, math, physics, and these missions are doing exactly the same, and this is something that we really believe is fundamental. We have seen it in Turkey, where the first astronaut flown in the X-3, with us. In the 4th mission that it will be launched in spring 25, we will have India, Hungary, and Poland. Those 3 countries have flown the last astronaut 40 years ago. So this is really changing the paradigm, as I was saying at the very beginning. What's in front of us? I can just tell you something very important. In the first module of our station that will be deployed in 2026, we will have the first orbital data center. So it means that we will start analyzing the incredible amount of data that we are collecting from the satellites directly in orbit and not on the land. This looks something easy, but in the reality, one of the biggest issues we have is to collect those data from the satellites and analyze it. So we will give this service, and this will open to an incredible range of possibilities, because, you know, when you are able to kind of live analyze data and utilize it, you will lose that big delay that sometimes makes those data not really good for your purpose. So, and I can tell you that the next frontier that we have is production of semiconductors in space, and the pharmaceutical sector is very much into this new world, the new economy, because, you know, not zero gravity, microgravity, even the production of drugs, and it's totally different. So we can open a new era also in the pharmaceutical production for the benefit of the human being on Earth.
Okay, well, it's not a coincidence that you guys were here for the start of the Mission Promise. You were not just in the neighborhood by chance, but you have been for a week on a visit in Czech Republic.
Yeah.
What was the purpose? What have you seen? And what role do you see the government of the Czech Republic playing in the space industry?
First of all, let me thank the Czech government and the Czech Space Alliance also, because we've been talking for a while now. It has been months. And this event, we've been, for the reason why we came here is that we organized together the so-called industry days. So we have tried to match the national space industry capability to build products that are useful in space with the Axiom need for those products. So you can see immediately that this is very important for the country, because, you know, once you enter this new market, you will have an enormous potentiality to be ready to serve any other stations in the future also. But in the same day, I was very honored to sign, together with Minister of Transport Kupka, an MOU that is somehow building the infrastructure for a deeper cooperation among Axiom and Czech Republic. Namely, we aim of flying the first Czech Cosmonaut. We aim to have more and more Czech industries in our procurement and in general in the space procurement. We aim at helping the country to develop more space awareness, because it's very important. I see also in my country, I'm from Italy, but also in the States, sometimes people don't really understand the impact of the space research on their daily life. I can name the GPS on every mobile. I can name a lot of technologies that are coming from the space research. So all of this will create a better future for Czech Republic. And I think that this could lead Czech Republic to be a space nation one day, very soon.
Well, thank you very much for coming, and have a very nice rest of your stay here.
Thank you so much for hosting us.
Thank you.